Welcome back. So that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
So we're here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Here with Gears Viking, Rod Fergusson. A Rodcast, a return.
I returned to the Rodcast.
Of the epic
yes.
Rodcast.
Well, in this case, you'd be the guest, and it's my Rodcast.
Oh, so would you want to ask
I
the
think I
questions
need
to
the
me?
earpiece and I need the phone, please. Yeah.
So obviously a lot of big news today.
Yep.
We announced Escape.
We announced our launch date.
We announced our launch
September
date.
10th, September 6th with early access.
Right.
We debuted Escape.
Debuted Escape.
And we revealed Sarah Connor T800 coming to Gears of War.
That's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of
We
stuff.
talked about a tech test coming.
July tech test. People want to play multiplayer, you can get in. People who pre-order or are in Game Pass will get access to our tech test. You'll be the first to play our new competitive game mode arcade,
Which is, we'll get
super
into that
fun.
later.
Super fun. Right, and then
Stay tuned on that one. That one is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then August, Gamescom, talking about Horde and character abilities. You see a little bit of that in Escape, the idea of the ultimates and the passives and how that could actually change Horde, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then back in September, we're going to go back to the campaign. So, we talk, you just want to just get that snowball rolling, just get that hype train going. And so September, once we get ready to launch, we want to take you right back into Kate's story and talk more about that.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I think people have been starving for news, and now it's going to be just an onslaught of news and news and news.
It's going to be a buffet of news. Well, if they've been starving, I've been trying to keep the metaphor.
Well, no, I got what you're doing there. Okay, so Escape.
Oh, sorry, no, that's not. I thought you were just telling me. I thought you were telling me to leave.
So you get abducted.
You
plant a venom bomb.
On purpose get abducted. So it's basically you're volunteering to Trojan horse your way into the hive.
Right.
So you're saying, we figured out a way to not get turned into a juvie when a snatcher pods us.
Yeah.
And we want to use that to get taken to the hive, and then we're going to start at the heart. We'll infiltrate the hive, then we're going to plant this venom bomb that basically destroys anything it touches, and we're going to give ourselves a 60-second head start. And that can change. As you set up your own and design your own hives, you can change the time for the venom and stuff. And then basically you have to outrun the poison, fighting your way through anything that tries to stop you from getting inside.
So the wandering Pikachu, as one does.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's a...
Ask the question.
Oh, sure.
Is this supposed to be a new, improved version of Horde?
No, I think it's actually kind of the photo negative of Horde. So if you know Horde really well, so when you think about Horde, and Horde is it's 5 people, which sometimes is hard to get everybody together. It's for a couple hours, so that's hard sometimes to get the duration that you want. And it's very much an endurance test. Okay, we're going to hold out here. We're going to build fortifications. We're going to build essentially a base. We're going to defend that base, and all the enemies are going to come to us, and we're going to repel them.
Yeah.
And so when you look at what Escape is, it's almost the exact opposite in a lot of ways, or at least the other side of that coin, where now it's a smaller group of people, 3, easier to get together. To get through a hive takes about 20 to 30 minutes instead of the multi-hour thing. And instead of holding still and building up a fort, you're actually push because you get the venom behind you.
Yeah, and we saw that with the Superstars, where they were, if you linger, because it's a balance, because you don't start with a lot of ammo.
Right.
And you got to find ammo, but if you linger too long.
Right. Yeah, the venom catches up.
And then you're kind of fighting 2 fronts the whole time.
Yeah, totally. And then when you see what happens when you go into the venom, it's not good, because it's to try to save Tyler. AJ went into the venom, and he was able to get Tyler back up, but then Tyler died before he could get out again.
Yeah, which I think I like that because it's not like a gas. It's like a toxin that just corrodes you type thing.
Pretty much. It's just like airborne acid.
Which, who doesn't like that?
Who doesn't like airborne acid?
It's like Ken Casey all over again.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of the things that the moniker for the Hive Busters is a scorpion. It's got the 3 points, the 2 claws in the tail for the group of 3. They use venom as a tool, much like the scorpion does, and so it's like this Team Scorpio is their designation as a squad, but our nickname for them are Hive Busters.
So, and then each of them, so we talked about abilities a little bit. So each character has a distinct ability.
Yeah, they're basically when you go back to Gears 4, basically you could say, I want to play the engineer in Horde, and any character can play the engineer.
Right.
That's not how it works in Escape. And basically, a particular character has a particular ability. So if you want to have the Electro Blade, you have to play as Lonnie. If you want to resupply ammo, you have to play as Keegan. If you want the variability, you have to play as Mac. And there's no duplicates. So
you can't run 3 Lonnies.
You can't run 3 Lonnies.
You always got that.
Yeah.
So, Bullocks Jones.
Nice.
Are there more characters?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually, yeah, that's the plan. I mean, the notion of we wanted Escape to have its own a character in a way. Like we wanted to be. It's one of the reasons. Like with 3 characters, it would be very easy to do Kate, JD, Dell.
Right.
And then we just said like, well, every screenshot, every video we do of Escape, if you don't know kind of what's going on and you don't have Venom in the picture every time, maybe you'll mistake it for they do this campaign thing inside this this hive. So we really wanted to create 3 new characters to represent Escape, and we wanted a different style. Like, if I'm going to get potted, I need to be much lighter. So we designed new armor, and it's almost like this bulletproof jacket kind of armor, and take away their guns, so it's knife and pistol. And then basically we went into and worked with Curtis, who wrote our comic. Curtis Weeb, who writes Rat Queens, best comic ever. He wrote it. He's writing this great backstory for us in our comic book series. First issue's already out.
Yep.
We're doing
next issue coming soon.
Right, and then we do 5 issues with a trade paperback at the end.
Yep.
And then there'll be a little bit of backstory to attach to these characters. But it's a great opportunity for us for world build. Like we have 3 new characters with 3 new backstories and a whole other different perspective on what's going on than what we had with Kate, JD, and Bill.
No, I think there's a lot of fun with that. And I think the ability to play with that narrative a little bit that is in the universe of Gears, because we haven't really done a real right turn like that before, where you're getting to go and see something that's different, but obviously in the same universe.
Yeah, well, this one right now anyway, until more characters start getting added in over time, like right now it's very much kind of in universe. Like these characters exist in our universe, and they kind of fall within our timeline, and they do the appropriate things. Whereas with Horde, because you could quickly change your characters, you would be having people of different time and different place and different costumes and stuff, right?
I was just meaning not with the Phoenix Saga.
Not with the Phoenix Saga.
If we look at the story of 1, 2, 3, 4, Phoenix has always been involved. This is kind of outside of that a little bit.
Yeah, this is a parallel time. It's the same timeline. Like it's in the world of.
Yeah.
It's just a different story.
Yeah, I love it. So, you talked a little about this. Like, is Escape different every time you play, or will it be similar each time, like Horde?
We have the ability to do both. So it really comes down to the design. And same thing because of Map Builder, the community will be able to build hives, and they'll have those choices as well.
Right.
And so you can set up a little variability, a lot of variability. But the thing I kind of going in plan was, because there's 8 levels of difficulty, and those 8 levels are different. So every set of mutators is also different per hive. So just because you saw 8 difficulties in this particular hive, the next hive that gets built or released could have 8 different mutators.
Right.
So it just means, as you move up difficulty, it just means adding a mutator. And so because we want you to get good and then get fast, to get good, you kind of have to learn it. And if we made it random, like truly random, or switched it up a lot, then you wouldn't know what to expect. You wouldn't know, okay, hey, there's juvies around this corner. Oh, there's a warden over here. Oh, there's a sire here. Right. And then to play into those things, we kind of wanted a little predictability just so that you could prepare, and when you fail, you can go back in and know what's coming, so you can prepare for it. And then as you add more mutators and get good, then hopefully you can get and level up, because higher the difficulty, the higher the rewards. So you can level yourself up so that you can actually get through on the higher difficulties, and then you can start putting times on the leaderboard.
Because as you level up, you unlock the cards.
Yeah, so you're earning your cards, right? You earn, as you go through, you're gonna earn cards, you're gonna earn customization, and as you earn your place on the leaderboard, that'll also reward you with customization based on, hey, you were in the top 10% of this hive, therefore you get this little thing that you get a banner that you could have that says, I was the best at this hive, or I was in the top 10%.
Excellent. And then Map Builder.
Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit. It's interesting because do you want to talk a little bit about what Map Builder is and how what does it work like, and how does that change the hives a little bit? Yeah,
I mean, it's really an opportunity to finally have the community to contribute to the Gears universe. We had way back in Gears 1 PC where we just kind of reskinned the editor, which is super complex, and how do you think about 3D spaces and modeling in 3D spaces, and it was really not approachable or accessible to anyone unless you were familiar with 3D editors. So when we started building Escape and building hives, we wanted to build it in a tile-based system, so you can actually sort of click them together and sort of build your own layouts as you were doing it. And as we realized as we were doing it, like almost a 2D perspective, the way you would build a track in a race game, we were like, well, this is actually pretty approachable, like this is pretty understandable. And so we decided to make the tool that we were using to build hives and make it something that was available in the game for players to make. And so the community would be able to make hives, and and our plan is for map builders to support other things post-launch, but it's really focused on what you can do with Map Builder and Hive, and so clicking those things together in a 2D way and understanding it, and then you can go in and preview in 3D and see what it's looking like.
Actually fly through.
Do I like the door there? Do I want the door there? Where am I putting my the places to explore? You can take it all in and you place the monsters in what tile and where do you want them? What loot do you want in what tiles? And you can lay all that out to create your own experience. And then once you can beat it yourself, then you can post it and let other people play it.
Yeah, because you can't go make one that is impossible to beat and then publish it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to prove that it's beatable. And once you've done it, then you can go like, well, hey, I beat it. Can you beat it?
Yeah. I like it. So it doesn't. So what we're seeing here, it's not always like the flock at the end or something like. You could set that up. So the flock could be your mid opponent, and then you could have 5 wardens at the end if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's up to you to decide what kind of layout do you want. You could just have like non-stop juvies if you wanted to have just a juvie wave attacking you all the time.
Yeah. A couple of Danny Sanchez.
Okay.
Is curious. You know Danny.
Yeah, I know. He's a curious lad.
He's a curious sort. Did we add hit markers for all the guns? So this is a real, because you're noticing now it's a bit different. When you're hitting the players, you're getting the numbers above their head. We changed a little bit of the combat.
Sure.
The way we inform the player on how they're doing inside the combat.
Totally, yeah. We changed gunplay quite a bit for Gears 5. One of the things we want to do is modernize it and make it more contemporary as a shooter. I think the way that you do with large reticles and the way that you miss is through bloom, where it just comes off the gun and then kind of takes an angle, but the gun doesn't really change that much. It's sort of an older, that's kind of like when it goes all the way back to their first Halo and OG Xbox, but they were the first to really make land sort of a shooter on sticks.
Yeah.
But really what we wanted to have was more sort of precision and use recoil on the weapon as the way to describe inaccuracy, because then you can feel it.
Yeah.
And then if you take that recoil and you make it a pattern that can be learned, then you can actually fight against it and make yourself, with a little bit more skill, you can get better and better at a particular gun. So, the Enforcer kind of goes up and to the left, and so I can kind of fight it and hold it and do it more steady. And then we use the reticle just to communicate a lot more. You'll notice when you hit, you'll get a little white X, and then when you hit a weak spot or a headshot, you'll get a red X. When you do it with an active reloaded shot, it'll go to a gold X.
Yeah.
And then when you kill, you'll see a big bloom.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, for escape, because it's different between the modes, this isn't true for all of them, but for escape, because you get cards that change what you can do, we wanted you to see that. So if you have a gun that does 100 points of damage and then you say, I want to take 10% more damage, you want to see the 110. Because sometimes 10%, how do I feel that? But what if I can see it and know it's happening, then I know that it's having an effect. And so we're using health bars to give you that. Plus, I like health bars just because it gives you that sense of when to charge in, where you're like, oh, they're really close. Like if I'm willing to sacrifice my life to try to get that one last hit because I know this would be the finishing blow. When they didn't have health bars, you're kind of like, maybe this is a good idea. I hope this works, but you don't know. So now you're
I see you played with me before.
Yes, totally. So now it's but I can be more tactical, and I understand how to, I know what damage I'm doing, and I know when to try to do something clutch.
Especially for those boss enemies like the Warden or the Flock, where you're like, oh my god, and we saw that when they froze the Warden the second time through, and they didn't get the helmet off, so they were beating the hell out of them, but not actually doing a lot.
No,
and this was a scenario where you'd actually learn that, whereas before you might not understand that necessarily.
Totally, yeah, because the Warden, if you paid attention to the trailer last E3, we had a Warden that didn't have all the crystals, and one of the things we did in that year is we actually decided to turn the Warden into sort of this tank character, so we crystallized its body, so it's essentially invulnerable, except for what's underneath its helmet. So you have to pop the helmet, expose the Deadpool face, that I like to call it, and then if you just and then it'll use his breakers to block shots against his face if he doesn't have its helmet on.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of focus on shooting it in the face. It's a general rule of video gaming anyway, just shoot it in the face.
Yeah, exactly. When in doubt, aim for the face.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah.
And then, so we talked about it being different. So, but it's the same when you're playing it, but if you reload it up again, is it a bit different?
It can be. So again, it comes down to how you design it. There's some back and forth where, in this particular one, the designers just chose to create some potential variability around snipers versus hunters, torque bows versus long shots, or M-bars versus long shots, and so or snipers versus elite grenadiers that have the overkill. And so some units will swap out just for variability, but for generally again, this is the E3 demo. We wanted it to be a little bit more predictable.
Yeah.
And we wanted people to have, we wanted to be able to know that the experience was going to play out a certain way because people are going to stand in line and you didn't want them to like wipe on the first second.
Right.
And so this one's a little bit more predictable than a lot of our other designs. But again, it's really up to us. So it can be exactly the same or it can be different every time and anything in between those two.
And it's an interesting mode, and you talked about this with IGN, about how you actually want to start harder and go, and then almost kind of find where your limit is and then kind of come off a little bit rather than, at least that's what we find is the more fun for we're playing at the studio.
Well, I mean, the big thing is, like I said, the greater the challenge, the greater the rewards, right? So the more, if you start off, plus it's just a sense of it, if you start off on beginner, which is the first difficulty, and you go into it and you just kind of wipe through it, you kill everything because there's not that much challenge, you get out, you're going to go, okay, like, what is this? I know it's not that fun, it wasn't that much challenge. And so we find that actually, you know, initially you'll only be able to unlock the first 3 difficulties, well, 4 difficulties will be unlocked at the beginning. So I, peg it to 4 and try, and if you can't do it, then start bringing it down. But as you do it, then you start moving it up. And basically with each one, once you get to that 4, when you get the next one, then that'll start unlocking advanced mutators, so you can go to difficulty 5, difficulty 6, difficulty 7, to 8.
And then I do that, so the rewards that I get. So I level up, I unlock more card slots, so I can have more like perks.
Right, you can have more abilities, or more enhancements to your character, yeah.
And then how do I get the enhancements?
So that'll be part of the rewards. So it's one of the things you'll get is as you're playing, as you complete a hive, and it'll basically earn cards. So it'll be like you'll earn skills, and similar to like Gears 4 Horde, where it's like, oh, I use duplicates to kind of, once I get, as Xavier noticed really quickly, is like, oh, if I got 5 more of this card, I'd be able to go to level 4.
Right.
And so it's basically you're playing to get more and more cards so that you can level them up, so you can go further and further and turn the difficulty higher and higher.
And they're earnable, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally earnable. Totally earnable.
And same with the characters, the future ones?
Yeah, so the characters, there's a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about with that, but we really wanted to start with these 3. Probably there might be a couple exceptions as we look to the future. But then one of the things that what I want to do anyway is create costumes for them, so that when, let's say Kate is ready to become a hive buster, I want to create a Kate in her like flak jacket, hive buster armor, as opposed to in the metal. Like, you'll still be able to take her in ice, in winter Kate armor if you want to, but I want to be able to role play that, like, oh, Kate's in hive buster armor going in after the hive. So that's something we're going to go down. That's kind of post launch.
And then I know we're going to talk about abilities more in the future with Horde and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is more meant for an escape thing. You're not going to be seeing abilities on necessarily. Do we want to give a sneak peek on anything around those? Like,
I don't think.
Okay.
I
tried, guys. I know. I tried. I'm going to get in trouble now.
Yeah. Exactly. I think we're good.
Okay. And then and knife 70-60. What was
there was 759 before him.
Yes.
Like, oh, damn it, 760 it is.
Again.
It's a long night.
What was the inspiration for Escape?
The inspiration for Escape, it was kind of like what I was saying before about Horde, in the sense that was something that finding that photo negative of Horde was really kind of the initial sort of idea, which was like, hey, finding 4 other friends online who want to sit for 3 hours, who want to go through this sort of very defensive 50-wave experience is just hard, right? Nobody phones you up or reaches out to you over Xbox Live and says like, hey, before you go for dinner, do you want to play some Horde, right? Because, like, it's more like, hey, how about we take your Saturday? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the thing about what we really want to do is we wanted to kind of turn it all on its head. We want to go, hey, I want to be able to say like, hey, Dana, I'm grabbing dinner in like 45 minutes, but I have time to run 1 hive. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And so you go like, oh, okay, sure. And so you can go and do 30 minutes. You're going to do it very aggressively, and you only need 2 other people, which is a lot easier to find. And plus, you'll be able to matchmake if you don't have 2 friends, like yourself. So the notion of
true.
So the ability to, it just, and then one of the great things is honestly is the fact that because we support 3-player split screen, that means that like your entire Hivebuster crew can be on the same couch playing together. And that's actually, I mean, you heard, it was very clear obviously that the superstars had not, this wasn't their first time. They knew juvies were coming, they knew certain things. And that was because we wanted them just to have a little bit of experience beforehand. But that's what we were doing in the green room is they were playing on 3-player split screen, and it's really, really fun to play. Everybody, like, that's the thing you see with this generation, which disappoints me because I'm a big co-op player, is that, with the push to 4K and the push to 60 hertz and everything else, is that a lot of times teams just decide that split screen's not, something they want to take on because it's a hard technical challenge. And so, but for us, because co-op, and co-op is really just a short form of shared experience. Like Gears for us is about shared experience. And because of that, like we really wanted to make sure we continue that. So having the opportunity, and that we've optimized the crap out of this engine, like we just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. We have such a talented engineering team and technical art team back at the Coalition that we're able to support 3-player split screen. So to have that experience with Escape is amazing.
At 60 frames a second?
Not a 3-player split screen. It is 60.
If you're playing
this way, it is 60. Yeah, so it's 60. So that's the thing, right? So in Gears 4. You had to make a choice. Do I want to play at 4K or do I want to play at 60, right? Do you want to play pretty or do you want to play fast, right? And so in Gears 5, you play pretty and fast. So you play 4K 60. And that's
my motto.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the big thing for us is, that again, because we've sort of really, this is our second game. I was trying to think of Ultimate, but Ultimate was really done off of 3. So this is our second game with this engine. We've really understand it a lot more. We're able to push it more, and that was just a challenge that the tech team and the engineering team put out, which is like we want to be 4K and 60. We don't want a choice slider. We don't want to be like which one do you want. And so the only thing that happens really is when you go to split screen like this, is instead of 60, it goes to 30 because you're rendering 3 viewports. But I mean, Gears was 30 in campaign for 4, and all that stuff. So people are used to playing that way too. But it's still a great experience.
Oh, for sure.
But but network like this, 4K 60.
That's great. And then so you can play split screen.
Yep.
Like couch co-op.
Yep.
Online, with your 3 friends, or you can match make and you can match with 2 strangers.
Totally.
So lots of ways to play.
Yeah.
For people like me that have no friends, it's helpful.
And you can play by yourself. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
But there's no bots, so there's nobody. There's there's a lot of when's the right time to use your ultimate? When's the bot logic isn't there for that. So it's basically if you play alone, you play alone, which would be really hard to only have one ability. That's why you really want to play off the 3 different abilities and figure out, oh, I'm down, pop your shield, or hey, we got a lull, let's get some ammo and that kind of stuff.
I tried playing by myself and I could get to the end, but that big battle at the end where you got the flock and everything.
Get through the by yourself. How low on difficulty were you?
I was the first one.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, just because I wanted to see if I could do it.
Oh,
I went through and I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then that last bottle, I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
Nice.
So, but it was a ton of fun. So, what have we said that you think people need to know about Escape?
What haven't we said? No, I think we've covered a lot of it. Like the notion that not only is it a great sort of fast mode with 3-player split screen and co-op, and the fact that we have a map builder that they'll be able to create experiences for their friends and be able to play with and challenge them and play themselves. Maybe they just create maps for themselves or their friends. They don't have to put it out publicly, or they don't have to challenge other people with it. Then the fact is just the way to think about the get good, get fast.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 8 difficulties from beginner all the way to master, and if you you'll put a time on the leaderboard regardless of the difficulty, but if you put a time on the leaderboard at beginner, you're getting this 40-minute penalty. It's just a really not a good time.
Yeah, they're like,
And
congrats, you beat something when you singled it
but once you get to master, once you've got to the 8th difficulty, then there's no time penalties. The time you play is the time that goes on the board. So to get the best times, you have to beat it on master. That's why it's that get good and then get fast. And then, so I think it's that idea of having this. What I really love about it is it sort of feeds these 2 different sides of you. There's the prove mastery side, and there's the speed run side. And the fact that this mode exists in both those spaces is really exciting.
Yeah, I think I like that idea of the leaderboards, and especially because with my friend, I like to be able to know. I want to be able to phone you up and be like, so Rod, I saw you did this, and just so you know,
I still can't catch you. No,
that's how the conversation will go. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great.
been
Thank
fun.
you for today. Thank you for everything.
Oh, it's great.
I mean, I think today it was fun being at the environment, seeing the response.
Yeah, it was super exciting. Like I was saying to the team, one of the things we wanted to do with Gears 5 was sort of challenge expectations. So I was saying we want to push the envelope, and I kind of wanted to break out of the mold. Like every time you come, you're like, oh, there's a 6-minute demo of campaign, right? Like we're going to see Rod stand on stage and play the game and play for 6 minutes and show us like something new every 10 seconds, and that'll be and it just felt like we've been doing that and we've done that. And so the notion of for the first time bringing a multiplayer mode, because we believe so strongly in Escape, that to be able to go on stage and show kind of like here's what this feels like, and then be able to do the stream afterwards to show people what it's actually like with the gameplay and stuff. Like it's just such a different twist for us, and like the Cape Broken opening to set the tone, and the Terminator thing at the end for the surprise. Like it's just felt like a really good way for us to kind of change it up a little bit, because we know we're coming. That's the thing we didn't want people to freak out, was like, no campaign, what the hell, flip a table. We were like, no, it's coming. Like July's Versus, and you're going to get to all play the new Versus. Yeah. If you've pre-ordered or you're part of Game Pass, come on in and play. We're going to talk about Horde. You're going to see what that's all about in August, and then in September we're back and we're going to tell you lots of cool information about Cade and what's going on there. So it's coming. You may have not gotten it today, but again, we wanted to switch it up and we wanted to surprise and delight.
And I think most people, from the ones that I hear from and talk to all the time, is they actually want that. They want to know that the campaign is going to be good, which it is. They want that. That's the thing they don't want to have spoiled. That's the thing they want to have, that surprise, because Gears known for such iconic campaigns that
right.
Gears 5's it definitely fits in that pedigree. So I like our strategy.
And we have if you're interested in campaign, we're doing the Coliseum panel Tuesday. Where there might be a cinematic being shown at the panel, so there might be some more story stuff there if you're interested.
Yeah, the Coliseum panel features you. Austin Creed is going to be moderating it.
AKA Xavier Woods.
AKA Xavier. I think it says Austin Creed on little things, so that's why I went there.
No, he does it both ways.
Xavier
Woods, AKA Austin Creed.
Laura Bailey. Kate, John, Marcus, John DiMaggio, Liam, and Eugene.
And a special guest.
And a special guest.
Yeah.
So, and we'll be throwing the VOD up of that, so you'll be able to watch that.
VOD, the video on demand.
The video on demand of, so you'll be able to watch that after the fact on YouTube and everything like that. We'll have you on again back at the studio. We can talk we can go way more detail into Escape when I'm back next week. Octus and I will be there playing. We can muck around. We can show you guys some of the cards. We can talk about the mutators more and really kind of answer a bit more questions at that level. But thinking this fine. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it was as valuable for you guys as everything you wanted, and answer some of your questions. And there's lots of coverage going to be coming out. We did our IGN first look, so stick with that.
And I'm doing nonstop interviews this
week. And
then
there will be more than enough.
I'll make a mistake and slip on one of them at least. So at least one of those interviews will have something I shouldn't have said.
Perfect. You'll have to read them all to find out.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much, everybody, and we hope you guys have an awesome E3 if you're watching at home, and I hope you have a good E3 as well.
Where else are they watching? Because they're not here with us, so they're not watching us live. They
could be watching on their phone or something like that.
Okay, they can't have a good E3 if they're watching on their phone on the bus. That would be.
Oh, I don't know if they're going to come back and leave. Never mind. All right. Anyway, on that case, well, thanks for stopping by, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.